Alrighty, so I think I found a couple things to talk about today. First thing is TB testing, tuberculosis testing. I just learned how that worked today, and that's because the job I went to for the physical and stuff, that's something that they require. Apparently, that's something that's required anytime you go into uh, the schooling field. They're the education, like educational field. Like if you're working with schools and children and stuff, that's apparently just a requirement, is that you have to get tuberculosis tested. Which I just learned today how that works, and I was confused by it. So it's almost like a vaccine, but not really. It's just the testing. So essentially, what they do is like what they did with me is they said very specifically the left forearm, and like midway down, they will inject you with something, and then essentially in 48 to 72 hours, you have to go back for them to what you call it, for them to essentially judge it, which they didn't really explain how the entire process worked. So originally, whenever they injected me, there was a little like bump on my forearm, and I'm like, oh, did they actually like inject something into my skin? It didn't feel like that. It just kind of felt like a vaccine or something. And I actually was reading up on it here, which I will just put up here. Let me move this out of the way. Um, I just scroll down it slowly so that like you can pause it and read it if you want to. But essentially, reading down through here, what it says is what they do is they inject you with essentially a what you call it, one of the not chemicals, one of like the building proteins of the tuberculosis bacteria, and in 48 to 72 hours, if you are infected with TB, whether it is the word benign is coming to brain, but I think that that does work and it is right. But whether it's active or inactive, if you've ever been infected with it, within that time frame of 48 to 72 hours, essentially there will be like a red circle, that like a hard red circle that forms on your forearm, that essentially is your body reacting to it. Now, if you've never been infected by it, then your body won't have a reaction because it's never seen it before. And that's how they judge whether or not like you have it, whether it's active, like inactive or active, kind of like mono. To where so as far as I see, it's like mono, to where even if you've had it and you kick it, it's still around in your body. It's just inactive. So the skin test is what they call it. Essentially, just says, hey, it's in this person's system. And then they have blood tests that, like, if you react, they'll use the blood test to figure out whether it's active or inactive. Um, so learned about that, and that's how that works. And sorry, I forgot to scroll down to let you keep reading. Um, Now I didn't actually read the blood test section because that's not what I was on about. But yeah, so I learned that today. That's kind of, I'm gonna say, neat. It's nice to learn new things, right? And I have a really weird thing with learning stuff like this, right? Like whenever I went in, I didn't know what to expect. So as they were telling me, oh yeah, it's gonna be a TB test, it's gonna be a TB test, right? And I'm sitting here going like, what does that entail? And then like the doctor said that I would get injected, but I wasn't exactly sure what that meant, right? Because like to me, if it's a test, typically I have to provide a sample, whether it be, like urine or blood or, spit, or, they take a swab of my nose, but now this time they're giving me something essentially, so that was confusing. But yeah, so that's how that works. That's something to know. Um Now my brain needs to switch gears here. The other thing that I'm going to talk about here is what I was working on last night, right? So I've been messing around in Krita, or I'm going to call it Krita because I think that that feels better. And I'm learning that art is hard, man. Like I already knew that it was hard, but like art is hard. um, so pulled up Krita here. This is what I was working on last night. And I really wasn't liking. So like this is, oop, that's not what I wanted. This is essentially what I have now, and like it doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look good enough, right? And I'm also noticing now rewatching it that here on what is it? I know it's kind of hard to like here. I forgot to redraw this other character in this frame, so it just kind of jumped out at me this time, and I'm like, oh, so like he's just not there in these, and I just really wasn't liking how it was turning out. Like the arms don't look right, and like just drawing it was taking a bunch of time. Obviously, art's going to take a bunch of time, right? So I ended up going over and just, not that tab, this one, and just starting over. And I think I'm just going to draw it essentially page by page. So what I'm going to do is like just in here, I'll just make a bunch of layers and like I'll draw out this scene and then the next one. So essentially I'll do it like I'll probably draw like probably 5 or 10 pictures and then put them into this part of the software and then plug them into this part of the software and then I'll just draw frames going from one to the next, like so like I'll have the 10 that I need to tell the full story and then I'll fill in the blanks on here just with like quicker sketches, I'm going to say. That's how I'm going to try it, but man is it fucking difficult. And over here I have, this is just a bunch of like the sprites, like these are the characters essentially. I drew these a while ago and I really like how they turned out, in all honesty. Just obviously little pixel art, but this is just like essentially my templates for what I'm going to be using, such as it's going to be these two characters, like so this is these two are the same character, these two are the same character, and I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory, but either way. So it's going to be these essentially are going to be in the thing, but it's just not getting frustrated with my own lack of skill, right? Um as I'm getting through it. So we're gonna see. That's what I'm doing today. Is this. But um yeah. So my brain, this is a shorter video. I don't really have too much to talk about. Well, I guess I can just keep going in on this. Like, takes time to do things, right? Takes a lot of time to do things. And I've been trying for, well, I've been putting off learning art and animation and stuff for years now, cause like I've just been writing, right? That's just been what I've been doing. I've been really hoping to just be able to get away with like specializing in writing and then finding someone to help me do the art and the animation, and it's just not worked out. And at this point, I just need to suck it up and just do it, which is what I'm doing now. Um, but man, is it a lot of work? It's really tiring. Because and a lot of it is, and I've heard that like you'll always be chasing what you're seeing in your head, right? Like that every artist, no matter how skilled they are, their art does not match what they see in their head. And the reason that they are constantly getting better and better and better is because they're trying to match what they see in their head, but they can never do it, right? And that can be demoralizing, and a lot of artists talk about it being demoralizing, and it's just about not giving up, right? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I know like my art is nowhere near where I want it to be, but looking at it like it's better than expected. But at the same time, I like in the first day I saw like huge progress, and now this next day, now that I'm actually doing actual like human figures and shapes, and something else I also need to figure out is like the actual art style that I want to do, right? Because I'm thinking of like the pixel art that I have there, right? I'm thinking of trying to do animation with like a pixelated esque art, and I think that that would be okay. I think that'd be neat, but also at like this level of detail and texture, like zooming all the way in to just a couple of pixels won't really work because of like how big it is. So essentially, to make it look like 1 pixel, it would actually be made up of, like 40 pixels. Each pixel in the art would be made up of a lot of different pixels, and I feel like that would just end up being even more work than just trying to draw like this. Um, but yeah, so a lot of just reminding myself not to get too banana shape and not too down, right? Especially like today, like I am, oof, I'm tired today. Um, just because of sleep. If I don't, I'm gonna say it, if I don't keep a very consistent sleep schedule, I'm just tired. Also, I think I may have realized that. So like I got 5.5 hours of sleep here the other day. It was either 4.5 or 5.5. And I was a little tired to begin with, but whenever I woke up, I felt great. And now today I got 8.5 hours of sleep, and I'm just sluggish. I can't wake up, right? So I'm starting to think that like maybe by sleeping the normal amount of hours, I might be oversleeping. I know some people actually like I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember the term for it, but there are people that actually sleep for only 4 hours a night, right? And that is their normal amount of sleep. They don't have any negative health consequences. They don't have any kind of anything about it. It's just how they are, and for some reason they're able to get away with it, and they're able to wake up and feel okay. And I'm questioning if maybe I'm one of those people. I'm just gonna have to test it, right? I'm just gonna have to try to only get like 4.5 hours of sleep consistently, and see if I end up feeling better over time, or if I just for some reason it's just that one day or couple of days it felt good for some reason. Um, but yeah, so a lot of what I'm doing now is just work, work, work. Lots of working, lots of trying, lots of reminding myself to not give up just because I'm not making as much progress as I want as fast as I want, right? Because that's a lot of who and how I am. Is I'm able to jump into something knee deep, get really good at it really fast, but then whenever it comes to actually improving, like I get that first 25%, like if 100% is the best you'll ever be, I get that first, 25, 30% like in a day and a half, and then getting from 30 to 50%, it'll take me like a week, and just even getting through that is a struggle. But then after I hit that 50%, it takes me forever to progress anymore, right? And it's really hard to get through that because of just it takes consistent effort, and then you get demoralized because you're not seeing very many improvements, and it's just hard to get through that. So I'm just trying to get through that first week, and then hopefully I can continue on past that, right? Because like I've been writing now for a while, relatively consistently. I'm not going to say I'm good at it, especially because I've only written one story, and then was working on the rough draft for another before I essentially put that on the back burner to start working on art and animation because I just wasn't really feeling it. And that was just literally whenever I started this YouTube. Like not whenever I started the channel, but whenever I started uploading consistently again. Well, started uploading consistently, not again. That's whenever I put it on the back burner because I saw something else that I was finding more enjoyable instead of forcing myself to write, and I don't want to burn out of writing because I really do enjoy writing. I really enjoy thinking about the world that I've created. And I like thinking about the characters, what they're doing, how they're doing, their stories, all of that stuff, which is why I'm trying to do art. Like it's still letting me deal with the characters and tell their stories in different ways without just having to slog through writing that I'm not really enjoying at the moment. Um, so yeah, it's just getting through the days, waiting until I can actually start working or training to actually start until I can start actually training at my new job. A lot of waiting. Still have a couple of things that I have to do before I can actually start training. So just waiting on that and trying to improve at other things while I get there. Because I'll be honest, I don't want to do that as my career. I'd rather do this stuff. I'd rather do either like YouTube or drawing or animating, or I've got so many ideas and so many stories to tell within the world that I'm working on that like I want to do that. That is my passion. That is what I think about consistently all the time. So me having to freeze it to go, actually do life things always sucks. And makes me so tired all the time. But either way, um yeah, so working. There's some updates, I guess, because I couldn't really figure out what else to talk about today. So there you go. I'm just droning on and just kind of saying nothing for the past couple minutes, so I think I'm gonna end it here. Thanks so much for watching if you did. You're awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you that do. Bye bye.